Indiana Dunes Tourism, located between Chicago and South Bend in northwest Indiana, is a proud supporter of Irish Illustrated. Extend your Notre Dame visit with a trip to the nation's newest national park. Visit IndianaDunes.com.
Tim O'Malley with Tim Priester for Irish Illustrated following Brian Kelly's press conference in advance of Senior Day on Boston College. Some injury news to update. Javon McKinley is out of the boot, but Coach Kelly mentioned they'll get more of an idea if he will play or not after they move him around a little bit. Since he's not on the depth chart, I am expecting McKinley will not play. He's the first time removed from the depth chart. And Shane Simon out for the year with a patella tendon injury.
I had asked about Jason Adamiola, because obviously he left the game with I thought it was left knee, it was left ankle. He seems to think that he'll play, which is important because it ties in with Howard Cross. Mm-hmm. There appears to be a discrepancy still this late in the year as to how many games that he's played. You have seen him actually participate in 4 games, just one play against Michigan. So theoretically, and I'm sure we'll try to preserve a year of eligibility, he doesn't have any more games he can play this year. And he played well on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think that discrepancy is unfortunate because he played well enough where I believe Brian Kelly was thinking about getting him some more action in the rest of the year. Also, to clean it up, Shane Simon also might not be able to take contact in the spring. Kelly would not go into detail, but just saying it's a severe knee injury. There's a lot of Ian Book, again, going back to what Ian Book has learned since Michigan. It seems the Michigan game simply will not go away for whatever reason, but they apparently have learned from it, and it's fueling the fire now. Intriguing how Brian Kelly mentioned they started coaching Ian Book differently.
Yeah, putting him in more live situations where they're actually feeding him the play from the sideline like you would to simulate a game situation, as opposed to having coaches behind you where you can kind of coach everything up before the play happens. Is it coincidence, or is this really better coaching and it's making Ian Book better, or is it tied into him dealing with the noise and things like that? I don't know that anybody can specifically say it's one thing or another, but Ian Book's playing much better football. And ironically, more people now are suggesting, hey, maybe Ian Book should come back for a 5th year. Or is Ian Book playing too well now that he may want to leave for the NFL? I think it's more of the former. I think Notre Dame wants him to come back. I think Ian Book ultimately is going to decide to come back.
There were words discussed about 5th-year seniors. Brian Kelly admitted that he has had extensive conversations with all the possible 5th-year seniors. We can detail that on irishillustrated.com because, per usual, every year he will not get into specifics at this point, and there's no reason to when there's 2 games remaining. I do expect, you mentioned Book, I would think that aside from Alohi Gilman, there aren't that many that have a much better option than Notre Dame. Alohi Gilman, we believe, wants to go try his hand at the NFL. Other than Book, I don't see necessarily that being the case this season.
Right. Yeah, you're right. I would agree with that. I did want to bring up another topic. I asked about Paul Moala because he spoke glowingly of him after the game and again on Sunday, I believe it was. And I asked whether he and or Owusu Koromoa could play another position. Naturally, he didn't want to get into. I actually figured he might respond this way. He didn't want to get into that. It'll be something discussed in the spring. But I think he left the door open enough there where you can think to yourself, maybe Owusu Koromoa slides inside to replace Asmar Bilal, who's out of eligibility after a couple more games, and have Moala play the rover. That, until somebody else steps forward, which we haven't seen, that might be an interesting combination for Notre Dame.
We'll be back all week to talk about Boston College and the key task at hand, stopping running back A.J. Dillon. But right now we have a podcast to go do at irishillustrated.com.